So, I'm back on Extreme Warfare Revenge. I played this a few months ago, and I'm actually buzzing to show you where I'm going with this. Oh. Lessons were learned. You know, I suppose that's how I'd word it. Lessons were learned. The main lesson being, we didn't do the Raw Roulette. And for those of you that don't remember the Raw Roulette, basically it was an amazing concept where instead of the general manager picking the stipulation for matches, a wheel was spun, and the stipulation would be decided based on whatever the wheel landed on. It was a fucking amazing concept, and I need to bring it back. So that's what we're going to do. We're bringing it back, but with a slight twist, I suppose. It happens every week, and it decides everything. So not only the match stipulation, but who's in the matches and stuff like that. We're basically running WWE off this Raw Roulette wheel, and it's going to be deadly. So, we're just gonna cancel all NXT and SmackDown shows. Basically, the reason for this is because there's no SmackDown Roulette, there's no NXT Roulette, they haven't been invented yet. So, what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna put the best of Raw Roulette on SmackDown and NXT, so that way you get to watch it 3 times a week, and everyone's happy. Anyway, it's time, lads. It's time for the first Raw Roulette. Let's spin the wheel. This is the wheel, by the way. Very nice wheel. We're going to spin it and see what the first match is going to be. A 3-way tag TLC, just as you would expect. But who's the first wrestler going to be? Who's the first person to carry this show in the 3-way tag TLC? Paul Heyman, exactly, just what you wanted, just what you expected, the perfect man to bring this forward. And who's he teaming with? Zack Ryder, the dream team. Anyway, they're going to be facing a dynamic duo, I assume. Xavier Woods and Carl Anderson, and they'll be facing Tucker Knight and Chase Parker. Perfect. Already we're off to a really hot start, and yeah, let's see what match number 2 is going to be. A 4-way tag TLC. It's like the opening match, but even better. This is exactly what Raw should be, and it only took a wheel to decide that. The teams are Zach Gibson and Deanna Purrazzo, Chelsea Green and Mandy Rose. Paul Heyman is back, and he is teaming with Jazzy Gabbert against Cassius Ohno and Vidot. Who the fuck is Vidit? There's also a barbed wire match with Tommaso Ciampa and Dexter Lumis. An Iron Man match with Pete Dunne and the fucking man himself, Big Red Eric Rowan. But what's the main event gonna be? Lads, the excitement, it's building. I'm gonna have to spin the wheel 30 times. This is gonna take about 10 years, so I'm just gonna skip right through it. For those of you who are curious, Maurice won the Royal Rumble, and we got a 61 rating, which is pretty solid when you think about it. Like, overall, top to bottom, that was a really good card. I feel like everyone was happy with it. All our sponsors pulled out, but, like, it's 2019, and sponsors really aren't needed, if we're being honest. I'm just gonna ignore that, probably. But it's week 2, lads. The wheel is spun again. It's time to see what's gonna be the opening match. Perfect. So we have an Inferno match between Wolfgang and Heath Slater, a hardcore match between Walter and Shane Thorne, a death match, don't really know what the difference is, but a death match between Big E and Danny Burch, a fatal 4-way between Joseph Connors, Ruby Riott, Oney Lorcan and Jazzy Gabbert, and a ladder match between Ali and Lana Austin. And I didn't know Lana Austin was in this game, so I went to go look at her profile in the game, and who the fuck made those stats? The amount of politics from trying to put together this show, like, Joseph Connors, what the fuck is that? Alright. Ali was sluggish and didn't put much effort in. I would hope so, considering that rating. NXT has been dropped by the USA Network, but you know what? I'm happy with that. I feel like 3 shows is just way too many. It's just excessive. It's borderline pointless, and we have 2 shows now on national TV, and for me 2 is the magic number, you know? 1 is the magic number. 1 is really the perfect number of shows to have on a weekly basis, and really it's all you need. So it's week 3 of the Raw Roulette, a roaring success so far if you ask me, and our main event is a no stipulation regular one-on-one match, which is pretty rare under the Raw Roulette format, but that's where we're at. Zach Gibson and Paige, which is actually, a fucking solid match. And we've also got the debut of one of my favourite wrestlers, Kavita Devi, as she teams with AJ Styles in a cage match. Overall, the show I thought was pretty solid, but we got this message after it saying, Zach Gibson is losing heat because you're pushing him too much. Fucking smirk. Just for that, I've decided to push Zach Gibson out of pure spite and no other reason. How can she honestly say that we've dropped to national level when we've got so many things going for us? Like, we've got these amazing shows every single week. We've got a TV deal on the USA Network. TV is outdated, you know what I mean? It's 2019, cable TV, it's dying out. We have our own networks. What's the point in being on USA, you know what I mean? Staff have reported that Braun Strowman is becoming increasingly difficult to deal with. Braun, you're sacked. And that might seem like a bad thing, but for every wrestler that gets sacked or leaves the company, that means another spot is opened for somebody to get signed. So we have gone and we have sent the fattest, thickest, juiciest contract to the best wrestler that's not signed in WWE. Obviously, I'm talking about the AK-47, Allysin Kay. So really, we're saved right before we've even done our next show. I'm also going to start doing fan access before all our shows because I think it's cool to give fans the opportunity to get uncomfortably close to their favourite wrestler. They really cherish the moments and it'll result in them coming back for more shows. I'm increasing my wage demands by 10% per appearance as I believe I'm being underpaid. Okay, Eddie Dennis. We've spun the wheel yet again for another successful week of Raw Roulette TV, and our main event is Bobby Lashley against Ginny. A banging match, if you ask me. Oh no! That lad's. Oh no. That actually is a bad injury. The finance department sending me an email saying that they're worried about, you know, us losing money. In all honesty, I think it's just, they're just overthinking it, and I don't blame them. You know, I'm an overthinker too. We overthink things, but really, honestly, we're flying. I don't know why they're getting so uptight and nervous about it. Our main event for this week is a first blood match between Rey Mysterio and Ginny. Although, if Rey Mysterio's in a first blood match and he gets cut on the back or the side of his head, technically, we won't actually be able to see it. But that leaves for a more interesting match in my opinion, and the people obviously agree because we got a 0.58 buy rate, and I know nothing about buy rates, I'm going to admit, but I assume that's pretty good. Mark Coffey insulted a few of our main wrestlers. Okay, you're sacked. Several wrestlers have complained about the backstage behaviour of Bronson Reed. Okay, you're sacked. Jey Uso has annoyed a load of people. Oh, alright, okay. Alright, well, okay. Yes, okay, alright, well, you're sacked. Oh, alright, okay, fine, I won't sack Jey Uso then. The finance department back onto us again with loads of absolute waffle, if we're being honest. So I may have neglected the contracts of the wrestlers as time has gone on. So a few of them are no longer with us. That's unfortunate, but really it's not the end of the world. I also decided to check our financial status considering all the emails we were getting, and okay, so we are in a little bit of debt. So that means, admittedly, I should have been paying more attention to this, but it's okay. I have a solution. We're just going to have to make a couple of budget cuts. So I'm sacking over 90% of the roster. They will no longer be working for us by the end of the day, but, you know, look who's left. What's left is the backbone of this company. Just under 20 of the best wrestlers in WWE. And really, I think we're going to be fine. Of course, because I sacked a load of wrestlers, I've had to pay them, you know, redundancy checks and all that. So we're in a bit more debt than we were. But we're going to make that money back. It's nothing to worry about. And now it's time for the new era of Raw Roulette. A tag team ladder match. Perfect. The Fiend will be teaming with Babatunde, the dream team, the absolute dream team. If this doesn't drive up the ratings and bring us to the next level, I don't know what will. An I Quit match between Killian Dane and Becky Lynch. A barbed wire match between Lio Rush and Becky Lynch. Lads, this card, it's got everything you could possibly want from it. I'm sorry, but if the crowd reaction is 38%, that's the crowd's fault. Like, if you're that dead that you're not even given 40%, we're probably just doing shows in Corpus Christi or something. It's honestly nothing to worry about. But just in case it's something to worry about, I've decided to bring in another signing. I didn't even know she was in this game, to be honest. But I've decided to bring in Seshmont Martina, not because I think we're in a slump, but hypothetically speaking, if you were in a slump, how would you get yourself out of it? You'd bring in Seshmont Martina. So, this is it. We have Session Mott, we have Alison Kay, we have Eric Rowan, we have Leo Rush, we have the Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling. We have a stacked roster. We have everything we need. So this is it. No more excuses. We're gonna spin the wheel. We're gonna get these amazing stipulations, these amazing matches. We're gonna have wrestlers getting opportunities that they otherwise wouldn't have. We're gonna live and die by this wheel, and we're gonna prove that the Raw Roulette is the future of professional wrestling. Oh no, I went out of business.